Touch the leg and welcome to Tibet This Week, where we bring you weekly news edition on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's have a look at today's headlines. His Holiness congratulates the President-elect of South Africa and Mexico. U.S. Bi-partisan Congressional Delegation meets Tibetan leadership, slams China for repression in Tibet. National Endowment for Democracy honors Sikyong Penpa with Democracy Service Medal. Sikyong congratulates new ministers of Modi's cabinet. Deputy Chairman of Bihar Legislative Council visits Tibetan Parliament-in-Exile. Security Kalon Dolma Gyari attends commemoration of the CIA-Tibet program at Camp Hale. European Union opposes China's interference in succession of His Holiness the Dalai Lama at 39th EU-China Human Rights Dialogue. Tibetans and Friends of Tibet in New Zealand and Australia protest Chinese Premier Li Qiang's visit to the country. On Tuesday this week, His Holiness the Dalai Lama has written to Cyril Ramaphosa to congratulate him on being re-elected President of South Africa following the recent elections. His Holiness wrote, South Africa has been a stable, democratic country since the end of apartheid, and its diverse multinational society encompassing a wide variety of cultures, languages and religions living in peace together sets an example for others to emulate. His Holiness the Dalai Lama has also written to Claudia Sheinbaum to congratulate her on being the first woman to be elected President of Mexico. His Holiness also wrote of his firm conviction that if more of our leaders were women, the world would be a more understanding, peaceful place. Indeed, in human history, most warriors were men, whereas women consistently show more concern and warm-heartedness for others' well-being. On Tuesday this week, a high-level bipartisan delegation from the United States visited the Central Tibetan Administration and met with the Tibetan leadership in Dharamshala. Representative Michael McCall, the chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, led the delegation that comprises Representative Nancy Pelosi, Speaker Emerita, Representative Mariannette Miller Meeks, Representative Gregory Meeks, Representative Nicole Malatakis, Representative Jim McGovern, and Representative Ami Bera.
I want to say greetings to the great people of Dharamshala.
Yes, sir.
And we are very excited to see His Holiness tomorrow to talk about many things, including the bill we just passed out of Congress that basically says that the United States of America stands with the people of Tibet.
The delegation met with His Holiness the Dalai Lama on the Wednesday morning, during which the leaders apprised His Holiness the Dalai Lama of the Resolve Tibet Act that will soon be signed into U.S. law. The delegation visited the Tibetan Parliament-in-Exile and the Tibet Museum, followed by a CTA dinner reception at the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts. On Wednesday this week, the Central Tibetan Administration invoked Nechung, the official state oracle, at a brief ceremony held in the morning at Thekchen Choling Tsolakang, attended by members of the high-level delegation from the United States. The Central Tibetan Administration held a public felicitation event at the Tsolakang to honor the members of the high-level bipartisan congressional delegation following the visiting delegation's special audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama earlier in the morning. As the delegation members arrived at the venue, Sikyong Penpa delivered a welcome address before the large conglomeration of Tibetan residents, students, monks, local people, foreign visitors and media personnel. Following Sikyong's address, the U.S. delegation spoke at the occasion and voiced strong opinions against the Chinese government's repression in Tibet and reiterated their full support for Tibet and the Tibetan people.
The bill also requires the State Department to aggressively challenge CCP propaganda about Tibet. So along with my friend Congressman Jim McGovern, who is also here today, and the author of the bill, I am proud to have sponsored this legislation, and I want to thank him for working with me to get this bill and Congressman Meeks on the committee to get this bill to the President's desk, where it will be signed in the coming days.
And why this day is so important is because I have hope for the Tibetan people. I know I know that you will all persevere for a better tomorrow for your children and your children's children. You will persevere so that you can speak your own language, so that you can pass on the beautiful customs that I have been privileged to see today.
And I truly look forward to continuing to work together in the years to come. We will always be wind at your back, and I believe with all of my heart that the future is bright.
For through faith, as the Dalai Lama said, through faith comes hope. Through hope comes courage. Through courage comes the peace of inner strength to know that one day Tibet will no longer be in exile.
I'm reminded of that, and when I look around at this audience, I see my brothers and sisters, my spiritual brothers and sisters. We share ancestry spiritually. So know, brothers and sisters, that you have one of your own brothers in the United States Congress fighting for your rights, for your freedom, for your future. We're in this together.
We believe that everyone in the world, including the 7 million people in Tibet right now, deserve to live where they have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as we so proudly say in the United States of America. Thank you all for having us with you today, and long live a free Tibet.
The change is on the way. As our colleagues have said, hope springs from faith, and the faith of the Tibetan people in the goodness of others is what is going to make all the difference. And then we can say freely in Lhasa and every other place, Tashi Dalai.
Sikyong Tsering of the Central Tibetan Administration was honored with the prestigious Democracy Service Medal by the National Endowment for Democracy on 13 June in Washington, D.C. for his leadership in defending democracy and human rights on behalf of all Tibetans. While dedicating the medal to the people of Tibet, Sikyong Tsering thanked the NAD board members and past leaders who has worked very closely with the Tibetans for many years. Apart from that, Sikyong spoke about the concerning patterns of cultural genocide within Tibet, fueled by China's promotion of unique culturalism at the expense of diverse identities, and about the suppression of Tibetan people through various means.
We tell countries, please don't look at us only from the perspective of being a victim of communism. Nobody wants anarchy in China. But at the same time, we have to make China accountable for what they are doing. China is a threat not only to the nationalities within China, like Tibetans, Uyghurs, and Mongols, but it's a threat to the whole world. Because they are not talking only about repression, not imposing repression inside Tibet, but they want to export their system of governance in the name of global security initiative, global economic initiative, global civilizational initiative. So these are a real danger and threat to the free world, and we all need to work together to make China accountable. We are born in this world as a free person. All human beings are born to be free, not to be enslaved physically or mentally. And this is exactly what is happening inside Tibet, and we need your support more than ever before.
Since 1999, NAD has awarded the Democracy Service Medal to a wide range of individuals who have demonstrated through personal commitment their dedication to the advancement of freedom and human rights and to the building of democratic institutions. On behalf of the Central Tibetan Administration and the Tibetan people, Sikyong Tsering extended his sincere congratulations to Sri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat on his recent appointment as the Minister of Culture and Minister of Tourism, and to His Excellency Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar on his reappointment as the Government of India's Minister of External Affairs. In the letters, Sikyong expressed his gratitude to the Government of India and its people for the unwavering support and generosity extended to His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Tibetan community across India. Sikyong particularly thanked the Ministry of Culture for their long-standing support towards key institutions of Tibetan culture and arts in India. Dr. Ramachandra Parbe, Deputy Chairman of Bihar Legislative Council, Bihar Vidhan Parishad and former Minister of Bihar, paid a visit to the Tibetan Parliament-in-Exile on June 14. During her meeting with the guest, Deputy Speaker emphasized the long-standing historical, cultural and spiritual connections between Tibet and Bihar. The Deputy Speaker urged them to raise their voices on matters concerning Tibet and Tibetans, particularly on China's interference in the reincarnation process of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in the Vidhan Sabha. Kalon Gyari of the Department of Security of Central Tibetan Administration formally attended a memorial gathering in Colorado titled Dumra, the Secret Garden, commemorating the CIA-Tibet program at Camp Hale on 9 June. The event was also graced by the presence of Tibetan parliamentarians Tenzi Jingme, Geshelharam Baadu Tsiden, Kempo Katangurup Sonam and Seta Tsuldim, along with Kasu Sonam Topke Kolotsang, president of the Tokam Chushi Counter Organization, Kasu Pema Chinjo, a 92-year-old CIA trainer Bruce Walker, and Tsering Doje, who served as a Tibetan interpreter during the training back then. Between 1959 and 1964, the American Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, set up a secret base in the Colorado Rockies to train around 300 Tibetan soldiers to fight for their freedom. After several decades, the precise location of the training ground in Camp Hale was still unknown until anthropologist Carol McGrannon rediscovered the site. The 39th EU-China Human Rights Dialogue, which took place in Chongqing on 16 June, was preceded by a rare site visit to Tibet between 13 and 15 June. During the EU-China Human Rights Dialogue held in Chongqing, the EU stressed that the selection of the religious leaders should happen without any government interference and in respect of religious norms, including in the case of succession of the Dalai Lama. In addition, the EU reiterated its concern about the very serious human rights situation in China, in particular in the Tibetan areas. In line with tradition, the EU raised several individual cases of activists, writers and religious leaders, including Go Sharab Gyatso and Tashi Dorje, and called upon China for the immediate release. Prior to the Human Rights Dialogue, the EU delegation made a site visit to Nyingchi and Lhasa. The short and dense program organized by the relevant Chinese authorities at central and local level included visits to boarding schools, municipalities, cultural and religious sites, relocated Tibetan families, as well as to a prison. Representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama Rinzai Chögyam Genkang said, this rare field visit to Tibet by the EU delegation sends a strong message to China that the EU remains extremely concerned by the ongoing human rights violations by China in Tibet and its unrelenting attack on Tibetan language, culture and religion. The Human Rights Dialogue was co-chaired by Paula Pampolini, Deputy Managing Director for Asia and the Pacific in the European External Action Service, and by Shen Bo, Director General for International Organizations and Conferences, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China. Tibetans in Auckland and Friends of Tibet members protested against the Chinese Premier Li Qiang's during his visit to Auckland on 14 June after his one-day visit to New Zealand's capital city, Wellington. The Tibetan protesters were met with harsh tussles and physical abuse and harassment from the pro-China group, but despite that, Tibetans in Auckland made sure that their voices were heard and stood for truth. The Chinese-Tibetan Friendship Group members and Friends of Tibet members also joined the protest and called for human rights and freedom in Tibet on the side of the road where the Premier's motorcade was passing. Similarly, Tibetan community in Australia, the Australia-Tibet Council, the Australia VTAC members, joined by the Uyghur, Falun Gong, Hong Kong and Chinese democracy activists, strongly protested against Chinese Premier Li Qiang's visit to Canberra. Hundreds of Tibetans and Tibet supporters protested on 17 June in front of the Parliament House and the Chinese Embassy, holding up the Tibetan national flags and shouting slogans. The 23rd Cultural Festival of Tibet and the Himalayan peoples opens its doors for a colorful celebration of the rich cultural heritage of Tibet and the Himalayan region at Bois d'Vincennes, east of Paris on 14 June. Representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama Rinpoche Genkang with Dominic Remy Granger representing Elizabeth Bedinder participated in a roundtable discussion on resistance through law to pay tribute to the late Robert Bedinder, former Justice Minister of France who enacted abolition of death penalty in France in 1981 and a good and a long-time friend of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. This attracted many participants interested in the legal issue surrounding Tibet. The festival this year attracted over 5,000 visitors, which offered visitors with an authentic immersion in Tibetan culture while supporting important humanitarian initiatives. That is all the news for this week's edition of Tibet This Week. Thank you so much for watching.